All right, we'll get to this stuff in a minute, but first, let's wrap up part two. Ranking and grading the superhero movie costumes of the DC Universe, all live action. Let's wrap it up. Now, this is mostly CGI. This is the Green Lantern suit 2011. And the plot was, I was thinking of Smallville because this came out during the last season of Smallville, right? So here's a little bit. There's Parallax, I guess, or whatever the fuck this is. Uh, Hector Hammond. They tried. They needed a better. They needed better writing, but the look and the feel. I mean, obviously, I can't. I can't see James Gunn not replicating some of this, but he's gonna do it his own way. So, what will I rank the costumes of the Green Lanterns? Well, I don't know. I guess we could count the yellow costume that the yellow lantern that Sinestro gets at the end, though. That was kind of quick the way they stuck it in there. What will I rank this? I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B plus. I think that it's. I had always envisioned. I mean, I did some drawing before where it was. I think it was John Stewart, and he had a plasma, but kind of illuminating plasma costume, like not spandex. So, like the first Green Lantern live action was it Legends of the Superheroes with Adam West Batman and Burt Ward Robin, but he had a Green Lantern. But that was and then there was a Justice League live action pilot for TV, and then we finally have this. But I think this is like obviously the definitive Green Lantern movie costume, just like Batman's black armor costume. Now, so this is the suit from Rises, and so this looks a little different. It has shoulder pads that are more emphasized here. The overall, I think the stomach area is a little different. The belt looks the same, but the gauntlets are much nicer, aren't they? So what would I throw this one? I'd probably throw this one in the same category as the Dark Knight costume. But I would say this one's a little bit better than the Dark Knight costume. I'll give it an A plus. I think I like it a little bit more. I like the gauntlets that are emphasized more. It's a little bit different. It's like 20% different from the Dark Knight suit and much better than the Batman Begins suit. Now we move forward to Zack. Here we are. We're now at the sort of the young side of the Zack Snyder universe. So there is the original costume. It has changed from this to Justice League. And I don't know about the Black Adam, probably the sort of the last costume he wore. No red under tights, but that's fine. And yeah, it's really dynamic. I like the music. They remixed it with Johnny Williams' theme. It really works. So here's some guy. That's love that. Great music theme. But yeah, who is that? That that looks like the guy that appeared in Shazam, doesn't it? There was a Superman stand-in for Shazam. Don't know what that is. But yeah, I like that it's sort of an upgrade from the Nicolas Cage version because we really didn't have anything before that. We had Superman Returns, and I forgot to give a score for that one, so I put it in the comments. So I gave that one a C plus B minus. It's somewhere between the two things. The Brandon Routh one is about a B minus or a C plus. It's not great, but it's not bad. But I'd say this outranks it. I mean, it immediately. Yeah, you don't have the S logo in the back, but it's a I think mostly CGI cape, but it really works. That's a really great. It's dark, but it's bright. I mean, the thing that you're noticing here is that it's dark blue against the yellow. So great. I'm going to tell you this. It's not Henry Cavill's last time as Superman. He will show up as Superman again somewhere. He will show up again as Superman somehow, whether it's a Super Bowl ad or it's a commercial for some shite or whatever it is. It's not the end. I don't think it's the end. And anyway, but going back to the suit, it when I saw the promotional posters, I immediately thought back to the last times Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster wrote and drew Superman, and I think it still holds up in a lot of ways. In some ways, it doesn't hold up to the later suits, but this is great. Really is. It really does combat the Christian Bale Batman suit in many ways. It holds to the weight, and it's better. It's better than Nicolas Cage's. What will I give this one? What will I give this one? I'm going to give this one a solid A. I think that it really is almost a definitive Superman suit. Between that one, so like right now, as we're looking at it, my favorites are the Watchmen costumes from Zack Snyder's Watchmen. Batman, I will say the Dark Knight Rises suit, and then the Man of Steel suit. But we still have a few more things to look at. God, what music, right? This is anybody who knows a composite Batman and Superman. It's like the composite Batman and Superman. You have to be like a Silver Age fanatic to know what that means. But anyway, so let's look at these. So this is like, I would say it's the first Batman costume to go to the gray and black composition, because every suit from the Tim Burton one to what we had with Christian Bale was black, all black armor. This is black and gray. This is the Dark Knight stuff. It's hard to hate it because it's the suit that we've always kind of wondered what would that look like. And I do, well, this is the Halloween costume. Let's see if we could find Superman's costume. Let's see. Okay, so there is a significant difference. I think it's just the way that the might be a little bit different. This is the Bat armor too. You get the Bat armor. I think it's a little more shinier, isn't it? This is the Man of Steel one, and then this is the Batman v Superman one. Yeah, it's a little bit shinier. I would say I like these a little bit more. Though I do like the Christopher Nolan Batman one, because we're looking at both Superman and Batman. This is the first time they both appeared on screen, other than the Sandy Cholera World's Finest. Anybody remembers that 2004 fan film? What a great fan film that was. If you haven't seen it, shame on you. You really have to see that. But between that and the Batman armor, that's something. So it's a little bit shinier, a little bit more bluer, I think. So yeah, here he is again. Yeah, it's a little more bluer. It's not as bluish grayish as the first one, I think. What will I rank this? Because I'm looking at all those, so I'm gonna, my letter grade will be an accumulation, not looking at a specific costume. I'll say the three medals for the individual costumes. Another solid A. More for like Batman's armor, that silver armor. It's very true to the comic books, but I do like Christian Bale's suit more. And Superman's suit looks better for this one than the last movie. And now let's look at it. Now, oh, we have to look at, does this music need any explanation? So there she is. There's Gal Gadot's suit. I don't know if it changed that much from Batman v Superman going into her own movie and then Justice League. But there it is. Just when you thought it couldn't be done. It was funny that Erica Durance, who played Lois Lane, she had sort of a prototype version of that suit in one of the episodes of Smallville. Oh, Smallville really set up a lot of things indirectly, even though it's not the same universe. It would set up a lot of things. We had not seen the Justice League in live action. We saw Justice Society, right? We saw that Absolute Justice 2-part episode. But anyway, dark reds like crimson and blues, very muddled colors. Like right, like you turn the analog controls on your television set. If you have an analog cathode ray tube TV, and you barely get the color, so it's kind of like that. I like this. So what will I give this outfit? And then you have the red boots, but I don't have the red boots here. So I will grade this. I'll give it an A minus. A minus for it. So Um, yeah, really good. Probably one of the best female superhero costumes. Now let's look at that squad. And here we have Suicide, not to be confused with the Suicide Squad. Um, the costumes weren't extravagant, but they served their purpose. It was funny that people forget that Margot Robbie actually wore the original Harley Quinn suit for like a flashback for like a few seconds. That was kind of cool. But what shall I rank Suicide Squad's costumes? I'll give it a C plus. I think they're all very good. Uh, what are the villains' motivations for putting on colorful costumes? Like the heroes have a reason, but what do the villains need? Joker, I understand, but the other ones, you got, yeah, I think Deadshot makes sense, right? Harley Quinn's gonna be Harley Quinn. Um, as I'm trying to remember who else is in this. Diablo, Enchantress. Yeah, what's his name? Rick Flag, right? Different people. So it's yeah, I think it's above almost above average. Yep. This costume. So we'll get back to we're not going to look at the Joss Whedon version of costumes. We'll get back to Zack Snyder's vision. But first, let's look at Aquaman's costume. Now, when I saw Joss Whedon's Justice League, I thought that might have been the peak costume, but no, I mean the peak costume is the orange goldfish sort of harness, the top, right? It's the sort of the chainmail of goldfish scales, and then the green. So that's a different costume to the right there, but it made a great impression on me. I liked it. It really felt like he made it to being the Aquaman we all know. Uh, Not so much so in the sequel, but really great costume. I will rank this, give that a solid A. I think it's like one of the best. The trident looked great. I mean, I think I sat for the final battle. I think I sat in the front row of the theater just to be overwhelmed by all the things I was seeing. It was really good. Now let's get to, and here we have the Shazam costume. There were about 7 costumes, and then you got Dr. Savannah's black trench coat of doom. And I think that this was really neat. It was bright red. It fit with a lighter tone than what Zack Snyder had done. Um, I mean, it was going in a different direction. A lot of the costumes were kind of a muddled color and black. And when you start from Jason Momoa's iconic Aquaman costume, and then this, it was definitely going in a lighter tone than what was seen before for the DCEU. So I will rank this one somewhere between a B plus and A minus. So like in between the two things, I think that it's not a bad costume, but it's not the greatest, but it's really like it ranks right next to the Watchmen costumes. The one exception I'll make, because we're not looking at a hero, we're looking at a villain. This is Joaquin Phoenix's Joker costume. This is from 2019, and very simple in design, not as complex as I would say Jack Nicholson's Joker costume was the most complex. Um, I think he had just like a total of like two, one with the beret and one with the hat. Um, I mean, this is, I mean, that was a more of a contraption. Heath Ledger's was a little more casual. This is somewhere in between, but it's still like more casual. This one I'll rank a solid C. I don't think it's great, but you can't hate it. There's no, like, anytime I put it in a C, it's like, there's no reason to hate it, but it doesn't really stand out. It's not going to be like super functional, right? It's not one of those trick costumes or trick trench coats or anything like that. So it's good enough. Good enough. The Birds of Prey costumes, which kind of go from underwhelming to maybe it's not too bad. Um, I don't like the this costume as much on Harley. I understand she wanted to wear a more comfortable costume, but if I had to grade these overall, Huntress is probably a lot better. Grade pending, grade pending. I'm going to give it a 55. Um, it's not like something like it really doesn't grab you, that kind of those kinds of costumes. I'd say it's a little less. I mean, the black and red is the most important. I think that Margot's next costume was a lot better. Yeah, that's how I felt about it. So we kind of downgraded a bit. Speaking of downgrading, here we go with the more colorful variant. This is the 84 costumes. It is brighter. I do like it. It's fine. I will rank this in the gold costume a solid B. I kind of like I like the first costume better from the original movie. This one has a shinier red and blue to counteract Zack Snyder's narrative, but I don't know, it just didn't work. Um, she has the lasso, not the sword. The sword was better, but I don't know. There was all kinds of excuses for her not using the sword. I don't know. Anyway, I forgot. Here we have the Jonah Hex movie. I forgot about this one. Before we get to Justice League, Josh Brolin, yeah, he did this character. Wasn't very good, I heard. Here's another look. There's good old Megan Fox. And I forgot who the villain is in this one. I guess it doesn't really matter. And there's another one again. So yeah, I forgot. What does this scar look like, by the way? You're supposed to have a scarred face. That's the whole origin story of Jonah Hex. But yeah, that's his whole scarred face. What will I rank this? I mean, it's a Western, but it's a hyper reality because it is like a DC Comics kind of thing. I'll give it a solid C. Doesn't really stand out. I like this. This is what I always was hoping for years and decades. So you got Superman's black costume. And you got the others. I don't know if much has changed with Batman's costume. Probably not, but I think Superman's costume was different besides the color. A little more streamlined. It's a little easier fit. I think the first one was bulky, and there you got Aquaman's costume before the movie, his own movie. You got Flash's costume, which is really good. And then up at the top right is Cyborg's. And then you have Martian Manhunter as well. And then some of the Green Lanterns. Zack threw everything he could into this movie because obviously he was not going to be able to make the other two. You have fan projects and such, but overall, the costumes live up to, I think they even outdid Watchmen costumes. And I will rank these, my inspection grade, I'm going to give it an A+. Plus. There's so much to like about it. I think everybody's costumes were at their best. I have to look at the Flash's costume again when we get to the next point. But yeah, everyone's costumes were at their best. Really peak costumes. Superman's especially, Batman's and Wonder Woman's. There's nothing to not like about it. Everybody stood out pretty well. I know that Joss Whedon made changes to the Cyborg costume at the end of his movie, but what matters is what we were supposed to get. You ready for some downgrading? Look at this. Well, they all look like the characters. I guess Peacemaker does all right. What shall I rank this anyway for the Suicide Squad? Harley Quinn has a better costume, but that's not saying a whole lot. I'll give it a C+. Da 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 da. Yeah. So not only Black Adam's costume, but the others, and of course Superman makes an appearance, but I don't think his suit's any different. You got the Justice Society of America. You got Black Adam. What shall I rank these costumes? A solid B, because I felt like it, and they weren't that bad. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I will say that I like these costumes a lot more, and they're not exactly on the level of Justice League, or even Joss Whedon's Justice League, but I say I like them all the same. Doesn't Mary look great? Let's rank let's give a grade here for these. Somewhere between a B plus. Well, actually, didn't I do that for Shazam? Let me see. Let me say no, just A minuses. No B plus. Just A minus. It's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. It does fall into the A minus rank. I liked, like even if the plot wasn't as great, because it was like a Wonder Woman plot. Fury of the Gods, but it still had like a. It's still great to watch those costumes in motion. So yeah, we're gonna do like a sort of a sudden death. We're gonna do like just like a. We're gonna burn through these really quick. So Robert Pattinson's Batman costume, I think it's great. I don't know if I like it more than what Nolan did. So I will rank this about. I'll rank it a B plus to A minus for this one. Here's the new Flash costume. There's Michael Keaton there, and there's Supergirl. What will I rank this one? Because you also have the Dark Flash and all that. I'll give it a B plus for all of them. I do like the Supergirl costume to the right. You know what? Maybe I'm sipping a little bit for my culture, my politics, but I'll actually give this a B plus. I actually do like the costume. It looks well thought out to me. It has a more like big bad Beetleborgs kind of thing, but it's still, I mean, it's the definite costume, so I'm not going to hate it. B plus for Blue Beetle. They're really great. I would say for the Aquaman The Lost Kingdom, I'm going to give this between a B plus and an A minus. I don't think it's like, it wasn't a major improvement, but it's a little bit different. Which brings us now we get to this point. I'm going to say that I like the colors. I'm not going to hate the colors. It kind of reminds me, in a lot of ways, my Superpowers collection Superman figure, okay? This is the David Cornsweet. I don't think it has the weight of what goes on. Now, you look at Henry Cavill's Superman suits, and they can hold the weight of all the bullshit, all the Brainiacs and Metallos and Atomic Skull and Rampage or Doomsday or Darkseid or Zod or whatever villains out there. The cape is fine, right? The boots might be all right, but I think that I was just listening to some of Alison Crow's Hallelujah, okay? And I do believe he's trying to create his new Justice League from this movie. It's not just Superman, it's a new Justice League. So, Mr. Terrific, I think it's about as good or maybe better than what we saw in the CW's Arrowverse. We haven't seen the Green Lantern costume, the Guy Gardner costume. We haven't seen Rex Mason. We haven't seen the other characters. We've seen Lois. We've seen Cat Grant. Looks like Cat Grant. Ron Troop. But I'm going to just say that I do like the colors and the cape, but that's about it. But if I really have to give you a score, I'm going to give him not an S, but a C plus. I'll give it a C plus. I'll rank it below Brandon Routh's costume. And now I'm going to give you the top 3 costumes that I like the most. And the bronze medal goes to Henry Cavill's Superman suit from Batman v Superman. I like that it's a little more colorful. It's a little more streamlined. It's thinner, not as bulky. I like it. I mean, I don't like the black costume, obviously, because Superman should be bright and hopeful. But it's somewhere between the muddy and the bright colors. So I will say that this is my 3rd favorite. And for the silver medal, Dark Knight, more than the Dark Knight Rises, because this was the breakthrough costume. And gold medal goes to Suicide Squad. No, not Suicide Squad. Zack Snyder's Justice League. I like the costumes overall. It has a little bit of everything, and I think that that's worth it. So that's it. That's the best. You cannot top this movie in every sense. The costumes, the music, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yeah. And just the overall tone. This, to me, is one of my favorite, maybe the best superhero movie. And there's no way James Gunn can fucking top that, ever. So thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, you know those icons below. I like it when you visit, but I love it when you return. Until next time, united we stand.